What's going on, guys? It's your boy Abbo here with All Things Sports. And since the Tom Brady suspension has been such a big topic today, and I have made videos the last 2 days on the topic, I thought to myself, hey, why don't I make one more for the time being? So this is kind of my prediction, objectively, on what's going to happen. It's just my opinion, so don't crucify me for my thoughts. But before we get started on the video, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to it. Because when I get to 100 subscribers, I'm going to make myself look like a fool by giving myself a Gatorade shower. You get to laugh at me. But my predictions for the suspension is that, first of all, people have to understand that the NFL versus Tom Brady is not going to be about the NFL trying to prove Tom Brady guilty. It's simply based off procedure and lack of precedent on Tom Brady's part because the NFL Players Association is taking the NFL to court. It is not the other way around. The NFL is not prosecuting Tom Brady. So that is a key difference that people are kind of getting mixed up, is that, well, the NFL can ask Brady for, the cell phone records. They can get a subpoena. I thought the same thing too. They can't. Private phone records are private phone records, and Tom Brady is not on trial. So that's simply not going to happen. Now, that brings us to Tom Brady. That the NFL gave its ruling simply based off of Tom Brady's lack of cooperation. The NFL decided to hire Ted Wells to give the Wells report. Spent millions of dollars paying him, and when it came down to it, and they asked Tom Brady for his cell phone, specifically the text messages, Tom Brady failed to comply. He was very uncooperative. He pretty much only gave cell phone numbers. He did not comply at all to the extent that the NFL wanted to, by a pretty far margin. They wanted the phone itself, the messages itself, and Tom Brady failed to do that. The Patriots were in the wrong procedurally handling the balls in the first place. They're an organization that already was caught cheating once, and the NFL thought that Tom Brady's lack of compliance with him destroying his cell phone was cause enough to indict him with his lack of cooperation. Now, the NFL Players Association and the NFL obviously collectively bargain. And one of the things in the collective bargaining agreement is that the NFL does not need concrete evidence to suspend a player. Suspicion is enough. So people that saying the NFL haven't provided hard evidence, the NFL does not need hard, concrete evidence. And they're not only that, but they argue their point is that Tom Brady destroyed the hard evidence by eliminating his cell phone and destroying the cell phone messages themselves. Because the NFL is not going to be able to subpoena Tom Brady or the cell phone company because Brady is not on trial for those messages in the first place. So the fact that Tom Brady kind of incriminated himself by destroying his phone, I understand he does it periodically, but it's pretty interesting timing to destroy your cell phone right before you have a hearing with the NFL that has to do directly with Deflategate and text messages that were linked to you and the ball boy. If you were truly innocent in my eyes, I think you hold on to the cell phone. I understand that a cell phone is someone's personal property and that you are not at liberty to give away all the information in the phone, but maybe you could have provided only the text messages to the ball boy saying, showcasing that, see, I didn't ask him to deflate the balls. Only that. I have not incriminated myself. Here is the evidence to prove so. I should not be suspended. Instead, he destroyed his cell phone. He didn't even withhold his cell phone. He destroyed it. I understand he periodically destroys it, but I think once you get past adolescence, you can understand how that would look. Tom Brady is a very smart person with a very powerful legal team, and I do not think that he destroyed it because, it was that time of the month. And every first of every 3 months, I destroy my cell phone. That's hard to believe. Now, what Tom Brady's going to argue is that the NFL has no precedent. He cooperated by giving his cell phone numbers to them. And the NFL has no hard evidence whatsoever. Procedurally, he followed it. And his lawyer is one of the best. He is one of the best by a pretty wide margin. The NFL and former players, I said this in the video yesterday, fear this man. Coaches love him because he puts players on the field. Players love him because, this is a direct quote, he keeps that a-hole Goodell in check. And 2 NFL officials say that they hate him because he's undermining the league. And another one says, I hate him because he's scary good at what he does. So that'll be interesting to see what he comes up with to try to get Brady back on the field, because he's very good. And one of the things to look forward to is that if the courts believe that Tom Brady has a legitimate chance of winning this case, they can arbitrate that there be an indictment and that Brady's suspension is withheld, allowing him to play while this is going on. So Tom Brady might still play week 1, but he has to show probable cause that he has a legitimate chance to win. And then the NFL or the federal government will allow Brady to play while this is going on. Now, in order to get an injunction in a players' association, when they collectively bargain with the NFL, it is very, very unlikely historically that they get one. That is one of the things that is key going into this case, is that the federal government, when it's dealing with an organization that arbitrates with a players' association and that an agreement has been made between the association and the league itself, they very rarely overrule that. And one of the things in that agreement is that they agree to this. The NFL has the right to suspend a player based off probable cause, and what their eyes is tangent or intangible evidence. You don't physically need hard evidence to suspend him. They agreed on that. So this is going to be really difficult. Both sides have a good case, and I predicted this last time. It's going to get ugly. They're going to make each other look bad. And I feel like for Brady himself, if you simply had just dropped this a while ago, this wouldn't have looked as bad as it's going to look, especially for him, because he's doing this to save legacy. He doesn't want to go down with another asterisk, because he gets a light asterisk because of the Patriots being caught with Spygate those many years ago, taping the Jets' defensive signals and things like that. And at least something that I view is that if a team gets caught doing something like that, do you really think that was the first time they did it? It might have just been the first time they got caught. But that's in the past. But Brady's trying to eliminate something like this from indicting his future echelon into the Hall of Fame. Because if you want to be compared with the very, very best, and Tom Brady has a very legitimate chance of going down as the best quarterback of all time, you can't have something like this weighing on you. Because it's not, if we're talking about all-time greats, it's not just how many times you've won, it's how you've won and in the manner in which you've won. So this is going to be really interesting. But I think at the end of the day, the NFL is going to win. Simply because the Players Association and the NFL have agreements in place that gives the NFL this power. And if you want to say lack of precedent, well, depending, they might be able to spin it that, well, we've never had something like this occur before, and this is the precedent we are setting. It might not look good, since you've had domestic violence and concussion protocol and all these terrible things. It might not look good, but at the end of the day, I think the NFL will take looking bad in a victory than looking good in a defeat. But that's just my opinion. I want to know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. It's that with all things sports. This is going to be interesting. I'll see you guys later.